I think Brian plays center field.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but he was because Brian had speed. He had wheels.
Oh, I remember
run.
very much that Brian was. He could get open. All you guys could get open. Had a knack for just running the plays that were drawn up and designed for you guys to get open. And we had this conversation before with Jay, and he was saying like it wasn't even fair. It was like the coaches would know exactly how everybody would react to every little wrinkle you guys put in every play, and the guy was open that was supposed to be open every single time.
I'm gonna tell you something that was different about our group of wide receivers. We were probably the most unselfish group of dudes. Like there'd be a game where one of us would have 7-8 catches for 150 plus, and somebody else in the room would have one catch for 3 yards, and nobody cared. Did we win? That was it, right? And then in the same boat, the next week, the guy that had one catch might have had 10 the following week. It was just, but we were unselfish, but we all bought into each other, and we all had different strengths and weaknesses, and our coaches figured that out. And we had dudes that would just willing to play the part and play your role that week and get open.
That was the thing. That key word right there, role players.
We had a good group. And I know I'm a little biased, but up until this season, this is the first time I felt like there was a group of receivers, not one or two guys, but I mean like the whole group of wide receivers that compares to our group.
So that's for a group, a unit, like a wide receiver unit, to have that selflessness, you would say, is that common? Is that a common thing, or do you think it's rare in a position? Because as far as the offensive line perspective, a good offensive line is going to have that selfless attitude. And there's not going to be just 5 of them. There's going to be like 6 or 7 that are always pushing each other and have each other's back if somebody goes down, and they can step in and just make it happen. But would you say that's a little less likely or rare in a wide receiver core, or like, because you guys sound like you guys were special?
I think it depends. I mean, like it depends on the team. Like if you got a team, like Washington State, where they throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, but you got a team like Boise State that likes to run it, that has amazing running backs year in and year out. It's like what Dre said, you got to buy into the system and buy into what we were doing, and whoever's roles had, whichever role you have, that was what your strength was, and the coaches utilized that. And so I think, to me, it just depends on the team.
And I don't want to say it's rare, but there's a kind of like a somewhat of a bad rap, the wide receiver diva. Everybody, we open every play, and we're open every play.
Every play.
Every play.
Every play.
Even on run plays, we open.
I was waving my hands. I was in the back of the end zone.
Did you see that juke move? You didn't see that?
Yeah. The truth is, though, like, how do you want to win, or do you want to have stats? That's the question every receiver in every receiver room, college or pro, has to ask themselves. Or do you care about your stat sheet, or do you care about putting W's in the win column? In our group, that's all we cared about. But we also knew if we balled out, we were going to win. And guys like Bart Hendricks and Ryan Dinwiddie, B.J. Rohde made our life even easier because they were dudes. Those guys throwing the ball made our life super easy.
And our coaches were so good at scheming teams up and putting us in positions just to be successful. All we had to do was just go out and execute what was drawn up. I mean, I said it from the get-go. We had the best coaches from top to bottom of them having their roles too, and them knowing their personnel and what our strengths is as a whole. So that plays a big part of
our
it too.
coaches were good, but I will tell you something else that I don't think some people realize is the group of DBs that we had no choice but to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we had Dempsey D's, D. Ross, Shenard Harts, Quinn Michael, Chris Carr, Gabe Franklin, Deshaun Kabong. Like we had dudes, Wes Nurse. I mean, these dudes are NFL players.
Julius Brown.
Juice Brown, yeah. We had NFL DBs at practice that we had no choice but to figure out how to beat. And then, honestly, because of that, when the games came, Saturday night was easy because we had a scheme. We had some awesome coaches. We had a scheme, and then we were playing against DBs that weren't anywhere near the guys that we had to look at practice every day.
It was like swinging a weighted bat.
That's
what you're saying.
Pretty much.
That's a true story. Like when they talk about when it comes to game time, game days are easy. We made practices hard. I mean, practices were competitive. There was trash talking. There was,
right.
I mean, you were pushing everybody to your limit, and that made us so much more better.
I know when we had inside run on offense, that'd be the only time the ones saw the ones on the offensive line. But were you guys taking reps against the ones-on-ones like every practice?
We did ones-on-ones a lot more than linemen did.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Okay. And honestly, truth, a lot of our coaches wouldn't have let us go against 2s and 3s.
Oh. Okay.
They wouldn't let us do it. And to be honest, if you weren't Chris Carr, Gabe Franklin, Dempsey, or Q, I didn't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like going on one-on-ones, if you weren't Julius Brown, I didn't want to go against you. I mean, we had other really good DBs, but I wanted to go against the best dudes to make myself better. So, but that's why the competition got real high, and that's also why some of us are best friends now because of how we competed and how we went after each other and practice every day. And you just develop a respect for one another, and then when you see the product on the field on Saturday and you see Julius D'ing guys up and Shenard Hart pick sixes and Chris Carr locking dudes up, you're like, there it is.
When it came to practice, like I said, we were competitive and we were making things hard. But when on the game day, you guys, you were the best friends in the world, and you had their back, and you were going to do whatever it took to get that win and do whatever it is to protect your teammates.
Yeah. I was thinking about Shenard the other day because I saw a Facebook post he put up. And you know how he's the wig splitter, right?
The wig splitter.
I was like, man, Shenard probably couldn't play in the NFL anymore because he was
his style not bode well for this style of play today.
I don't think. I mean, he would get fined every week. It's like
he'd be suspended and
like suspensions and ejections would go down.
Yeah.
So he was a man. I'm telling you what, that guy.
I'm glad he never put it on me. He never had to put it on me.
I got lucky too. I never got to get hit by him. I got hit by Brian Johnson once, and that was enough. I didn't want to get hit by anybody else.
Dude, when I went to his house just earlier this season, he was showing me all these bent face masks that he had from the Chicago Bears and Washington Redskins.
That's awesome.
He had like 10 or 11 of them, dude. Like, yeah, they ordered me some titanium ones.
Yeah, that dude was he was a man.
Now that's cool. That's a story right there. That's cool.
That was pretty cool.
Brian Johnson, shout out to my man BJ. He was a dude, big time player.
Yeah. Oh man. Man, it's really loud in here. I apologize for all this background noise.
I know. It's the most jumping it's been.
It's a good atmosphere.
It is a good atmosphere. It's a big game.
Nice weather.
Big game.
A little late start.
You know what? The nice weather is helping out this late start thing right now.
Definitely.
Because it could very easily be 20 degrees or lower and snowing right now.
So speaking of that, what do you think we can do to get away from that, man? How do we get to like college prime time, afternoon, evening? I mean, early evening is going to be like some big Pac-10 game or SEC game almost every week. But man, those early games, remember we used to play like 1:30,
1 o'clock.
That was the best, man.
That was also before we
4
had the
o'clock was
ESPN.
like a late game.
Yeah. That was before we had the ESPN contract money too, though.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think there is a way that we're going to get away from it unless, I mean, we go to a different conference, which ain't going to be in the near future, if you ask me. And there's some other different type of contract with network television from there. You know, I don't see any other way around it. We might get one game during the day, but not
well, yeah,
not
that's
all the time.
That's what we've been pushing for. Our theory is if you could write in the contract, one game, home game, September, October. So at least you have one family day. You can bring the kids out. They can play out in the sun.
Yeah. I want that 1 o'clock game though to be in November.
Yeah, because it's cold at night.
Hey, I wouldn't mind an 11 o'clock game.
Oh no, yeah, that's earlier.
Start the early games.
Yeah,
I mean,
get it
I
in.
wouldn't have a problem with that. I think people would like that.
Yeah. That's the hardest part is the late games are based on the ESPN time slots. We're making a lot of money with that contract, but we're like, we won't get that primetime game until we're in the Big 12 or the Pac-12, like TCU. TCU had the late games too until they got into a big conference. Now they're playing at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock every Saturday.
Well, they do play Colorado at 1:30, but that's the day after Thanksgiving, and it's away. So,
Right.
so if you take that theory, like there's got to be one in there, and they find one every year. Can it be here?
Yeah. That's what we want. We need it at home, right?
Yeah.
But
We need to
it's
take
tough.
care of the fans. Everyone talks about how they're the greatest fans of college football, and they are. But I mean, man, they be getting the shaft for.
It's still showing up.
Quite
but
a while.
It's tough.
I would say this year has been much better as far as the fans staying late, and the student section has been awesome.
They've been great.
Man.
They have been great.
Shout out to the students.
Yeah.
And they're
The corral.
getting organized.
They're-
They're on the
stepping on
news
up,
and everything.
Actually, I went to what game was it? The Hawaii game, and some students came up and sat in some seats next to us and said we're overflowed. They told us to go anywhere in the stadium.
Listen, I
wow.
was across. I sit across from the student section most games, and they were there for the whole game.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you start filling up the stadium. Like that was one of our questions. How do you fill up the stadium? Like, well, they've got a bunch of students that stay on campus.
Yeah. Take care of the students.
I know. Pack it in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
pack them in.
at that point, those are the people you're going to get at an 8 o'clock game. I mean,
Right.
students. So why not make it almost accessible to them to sit almost anywhere?
Yeah. The hard part is that you gotta cater to your sponsorship.
That's true.
tickets,
You got to give the
some of
adults
your-
their
some of your general and so it's tough. There's a lot of ways to do it. I don't know if there's a 100% right answer, but there's a lot of right things that we can do to change some of this, and one of them I say is sell beer.
Well, yeah, the ruling
Yeah.
just came down not too recently. Now it's
Leave it up to the
the
university.
President Trump. It's all on her shoulders.
Sell beer.
Now, we've gone back and forth with this. If they sell beer, I would assume that they would have a no readmission policy to keep you locked in there. That'd be the trade-off. I think.
I'd be
with that.
fine with that because a lot of the times the reason that people are leaving at halftime is to go get more booze.
Yep.
Well,
To go back out to their tailgate.
And they're not coming back
Yeah.
in.
They get out there, they get a nice little warm shot in their chest, and they end up staying out there. They don't come back in because I mean, realistically, halftimes when you're a fan, you're walking out and then you're there, and then all of a sudden the second half is starting.
Right.
And you're like, I just got out here.
It happens quick.
Yeah. So halftimes really don't last that long.
We really spoiled the fans, guys, when the game was over at halftime back in the early 2000s.
I know that
We
did.
Yeah.
So I
We
mean,
did.
we can only blame ourselves.
Maybe that's why they started scheduling the game late. Because everybody's going like it's over at 10. Start at 9.
Let's just get out of here.
Well, but the other part of that is you would have to stop selling beer like at the end of halftime.
Yeah,
Right?
start of the third, I think,
Well,
is typical.
a lot of
yeah.
stadiums I've been to that do sell beer, they're somewhere in the quarter. They're shutting
Midway,
shutting
they
down
do a
shop.
last call
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I actually saw Colorado State. I think it's 7 minutes and 25. It's a weird,
Yeah.
like bet.
Yeah.
Well, that
It
works.
makes sense though. It keeps people engaged because let's be honest, football is one of those sports. It's like soccer. Like people like to drink while they watch and before and after. So
And during.
So if they can't have a drink the whole first half, what they end up doing is taking off and going down to the tailgate. Take off and go down to the tailgate and
then come to Suds after.
That's
always
always
a win usually.
That's always the next
Suds,
step.
yeah.
I don't know. Like, if we're advertising, everybody drinking at the stadium, is Suds going to get angry here?
No, I
because
think it'd be.
We'll always have the pre and post parties.
That's true.
And I think it'd be better because more people are going to go out if we win, and if we have the second half crowd in a tight game, it does affect the outcome.
That's true.
Because to be honest, most fans when they leave though, they're like Tim said earlier, they're going down to the tailgate. They're still in the stadium parking lot. They just haven't made their way back, or they decided they're not going back because of the score, or because they're like, oh, well, we'll just watch it out here on TV by the RV and I'll have my drinks.
I do notice when you watch on ESPN, those cameras get real tight in the fourth quarter, real tight on the sidelines.
Yes, they do. And if you pay attention to a lot of those late games, not just Boise State, but sometimes those MAC schools and those AAC schools are in those late time slots too, and they have the same issues that we're having. They're late start games, and fans are leaving early.
I guess those games are meant to be watched from your bed.
I'm gonna make a beer run. I'll be right back to you guys.
You gonna grab me one later?
Hold it down. Don't let this go off the rails, John.
I think I can handle
it.
Okay,
sounds good.
The music is sending off the rails, so we're already good.
I will say the music is on point.
Whoever has hold of the jukebox is doing the thing tonight. Doing the thing.
It is.
It's got some Warren G and some Juvenile. This is the music that we went to college with. I think they knew we were coming.
This right here was on my game day playlist.
Yep.
So you guys are running the jukebox.
Yeah, we probably are secretly.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to the game tonight?
I'll be going in. Me and my wife. My in-laws have season tickets, and they've had tickets since '85. So
good old days.
They're in there, and me and my wife, we have season tickets now too, so we sit next to them.
All right. So you're a regular.
Yeah.
You're not just fly-by fan. Will you be at the New Mexico game?
Honestly, I like to just tailgate because I can watch the game a little easier on TV than I can live. I get a little in my feelings when I'm watching it live most of the time, to be honest. But but this year I've gone to a lot more games. I normally go to like 1 or 2 away games and 1 or 2 home games a year. But this year I think I've been to every one, and I drove down to the BYU game also.
Oh wow, dedicated.
The wife loves them, so.
Oh, all right.
Why not take a road trip?
Didn't it rain on you guys for like an hour before that game started or something like that?
It rained the whole drive down. It rained the whole time before the game, during, and after.
Oh, it was really?
It maybe stopped for like 35, 40 minutes during the game.
Man, I remember when we went down there in '03. Remember it was some crazy weather too, Tim. It was like
which game?
The game.
Oh yeah. We had snow.
Right before and during.
And then the BYU field crew decided to turn on the sprinklers to see if they could get rid of the snow on the field. So we had ice.
Oh, nice.
We had ice on the field along with the snow.
Sliding on that and like my arm going numb.
Yeah.
Instantly.
That's the smartest field crew in football history.
Yeah.
Let's water a snow-covered field.
They got that on TV too. They had Coach Hawk standing in the tunnel watching the sprinklers go on the field, and the look on his face was priceless.
Let's just create an ice rink now, guys. Let's play hockey instead of football tonight.
And we were like, all right, screw it, whatever. We'll play on whatever, I guess.
You had a game that day too, didn't you, Tim?
A pretty good game.
Yeah.
I wasn't very smart during the game, though. I didn't drink enough water. I started cramping up. Smart during the game. So be that a lesson to you, future football players. That when it's cold, you still gotta drink some water.
Yes. All you young high school kids out there.
Pro tip of the day. not pro, college tip.
Hydrate.
Hydration.
That I will say that's one of the hardest things to get kids to do in sports is hydrate.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think we fully understood it until we were in college.
No, absolutely not. So I get it when I tell my kids to hydrate and they drink like one bottle. I'm like, dude,
they think they're good.
it's August and it's 105 degrees out here and you had like one bottle of water in 2 days.
Like, Coach, I've been drinking Mountain Dew all
Right,
day.
yeah, I had
I'm good.
Yeah, I
Don't
had
you wish
soda.
you could just take all your wisdom when you see a little
Oh,
kid? Like,
God.
if I could just put it in you. There you go.
Yeah.
You would be crushing this.
Some of the kids get it. I'm like, hey, I was in your shoes. I did this for a long time. Trust me.
Well, you need to get the back cramps, I think, to really hammer it home. Because there's nothing like waking up and your hamstring just being tied in a knot or on a field, and then your calf is just.
I learned in my senior year in high school, we were in Vegas. And we had a game up in Vegas when I was in high school, and my leg cramped up worse than I've ever could have imagined. Middle of the night, I couldn't go back to sleep for like 2 hours. My leg just locked up, and that was the moment I was like, okay, water is for real. Like,
I
get
didn't have a cramp until I was a junior, and it was the U of I games, the opening season, the opening game of the season. And I ran a corner route to the end zone, and my calf cramped up, and I just dropped like I got shot from
by a sniper in the press box.
And I was just rolling on the side. I didn't even know how to react to such pain. And then looking down and seeing your calf muscle just total flexed, and you don't even know what to do. You just kind of flop like a fish.
It's the strangest feeling to have a really bad muscle cramp, but it's all in hydration and stretching and taking care of your body. I think nowadays, though, more kids are understanding that, and more people are taking care of their bodies, even at the
There's a lot more information. I mean, out there, just for every level down.
Right.
Guys like you out there just yelling it now, like.
Well, it came a long way because my dad telling me stories when he was playing, like drinking water to weakness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they weren't allowed to drink water in high school and in college.
It was a reward.
Yeah, it was like you haven't worked hard enough to drink water yet, or we're 30 minutes in practice and you need water, like you're being weak.
Yeah.
And now it's like you're drinking as much water as possible any time of the day, all through practice. And there's certain states at the high school level, and I know Texas and Georgia and Florida are 3 states for sure. They have mandatory water breaks throughout the game.
Yeah.
Every Friday night.
Oh, like stop.
There is a mandatory timeout for water in these high humidity states.
yeah,
I never had even my junior coaches were always just watering us down constantly. Like, one thing I remember too, they would bring little bottles of honey on game day and just give us shots of sugar right before we run out on the field. Yeah. That was a classic move too, but mostly water that they would drink. Well, Gatorade was big back in the day. The big jug of Gatorade one dad would bring like one big jug of Gatorade, everybody would go drink out of his cooler instead of the water.
When I was in Pop Warner, we had a coach that would buy us like these big 6-packs of Jolt. Do you guys remember Jolt?
Jolt.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We were like these.
That's illegal now, right?
It probably should be because we were like little 10, 11-year-old kids on
Jolt
high
and
running around.
no-dos.
It's like the precursor to energy drinks.
This team has a lot of energy.
We were running.
There you go.
Oh, another quick question I want to throw out there before I forget. Tim, what was it like being Turner's roommate, redshirt freshman year?
It was just fine. You were an introvert. You would come home and
Wasn't bringing a lot of girls home. No problems there.
There was no strangers. There was nothing no strange coming into the place with me and Josh looking at each other going like, well, who was that? Is that the flavor of the week? You know, we
What are you talking about?
never had
man?
to deal with any of that.
No tie on the door, huh?
You just came in the kitchen, fixed yourself something to eat, went back into your room, and
Quiet.
then you gave us the occasional ride to practice, and you had a brand new Ford truck,
yeah.
and it was kind of funny when it would rain, you'd put it in 4-wheel drive.
And then go drive it.
You